each of you, what is the primary energy for you to connect to that represents the spiritual support? I'm just gonna, this deck, okay. So we'll do 3 groups. The table's gonna get a little bit messy because I'm not gonna carry these cards away, but hopefully I'll explain it well enough to you. This is group 3. This is group 2, 1. Let's say group 1. This is group 2. This feels like it goes with, no, what is it? 1. Or is it separate? There's an energy in this card. Separate. I think this is separate. Okay, yeah. I think this is separate. I'm gonna come to it. But this was like the energy of requesting. Okay. So choose your groups. Group 1, group 2, group 3. I would advise you to go with whichever one you felt your first immediate call to. If you feel called to more than one, that's okay. If you just feel like my intuition doesn't feel clear at all, I don't know, then you can listen to all of them and see which one feels accurate for you according to your life story. Green deck they're requesting. Okay, so let's get some messages out. This for group 1. Oops, I didn't mean to turn that over. And I haven't chosen my, okay, yeah. I've chosen my number now. I keep turning the cards over when I'm not meant to look yet. Group 1, group 2, group 3. Okay. So starting with group 1. I'm actually going to tell you the first of all of them over. Interesting. There's playing games, trickster, crafty energy. Group 2. This is I think this is called perception of this deck. That might be a different energy, but I'll talk about it when I come to it. It might have a different name in the deck, I mean. Very interesting because all of these cards are coming through some sort of like trickster energy. And then group 3, we have the energy of choices, pathways, crossroads. Okay. Starting with group 1, you want to comment in the chat which group you chose, you can. Okay, let's have a look. We're getting so many songs, and sometimes I don't remember the lyrics properly. Something like da da da, and I'm holding on. You're gonna be my number one, number one. That's the song that's coming up for group 1. We'll see why in a minute. I don't even know who sings that song right now. I cannot remember. Okay, group 1. Firstly, the message for you, group 1, is that the support for you is swift. I can't remember. I remember the cover. Yeah, I really can't remember. So you've got the Knight of Swords here, and the first message is that the energetic support, and I want to use the image of the Valkyrie because I feel like that's I know the Valkyrie come actually in that mythology to take the dead. So I don't really mean like that in that terms, but the visual, you think about the powerful visual of the Valkyrie as warriors. That's the energy that I'm seeing in terms of the spiritual support. And they're saying it's coming in swift, like it's coming in quite fast. So there is quick action to give you support or change, which is also confirmed by the Chariot card here. But there's another message for the Chariot that I'm going to come to in a second. I need to take my glasses off, but the thing is, if I do, I can't see the chart. But it's bothering the bridge of my nose. Okay. Okay, whether you're my number one song, the message there is that you are a top priority spiritually. That's not that you're top priority over others. It's just that wherever you are, the yeah, to be honest, again, I've been watching a lot of military shows, and sometimes you'll have, let's say, multiple teams. I've been watching specifically SEAL Team lately. You'll have multiple teams fighting a battle on different fronts, and they'll have different needs, and they'll be calling for backup or support or supplies at different times. And sometimes they will say to a specific team, like, no, we can't help you because this help or support or quick response team is being sent to this group. And if you're in group one, you are the people who are getting the quick response, as in there is urgent, immediate response to whatever is going on with you. You are number one priority, firstly. So that's something for you to know, feel, hold, and feel validated by. The primary energy that you need to anchor in and lock into, and it's like, I want you to think of this like making a phone call. There's certain shows, I'm thinking like Matrix, for example, and I also think Everything Everywhere All at Once had a similar concept, but you would pick up a phone, you would make a call that would connect you to a certain frequency, and then it would give you access to a new space dimension area. I want you to think of it in the same way. That when I'm talking about tuning into this particular energy, it's like being put on the phone with the relief team or the emergency support team for yourself and getting uploaded to or fast tracked to the space of like safety or relief. And the vibration that you need to tune into is actually, let's give it, I'm going to say faith and optimism. And typically, okay, this is the Hierophant card, and the Hierophant card is a Taurus card, which is ruled by Venus. But this is more of a Jupiter energy. Not the card, but the faith and optimism that we're talking about here. Because actually, the illustration of this particular Hierophant card is quite different to what we see in, let's say, the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot. You see the joyful state of this person. You see them looking to the top of this ladder with brightness, hope, fruition. And yeah, the medicine, really, the energy medicine that you need, group one, is like ridiculous hope and faith that is, it's not delusional, right? But it's like right at the edge of being unrealistic. It's like you have no reason logically to be feeling like everything's going to be okay. But you need to choose it. You literally need to be like, every day of your life, you need to wake up and decide. Like you need to, and you have to decide it, like I said, like you're placing a phone call. I am dialing in, beep, 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 ring, ring. I'm dialing into the frequency of unrealistic hope and faith here. There's a reason for this as a technology that I want to see if I can get more to the heart of, because it relates to this trickster energy at the top. It feels like, yeah, it feels like you're vulnerable actually. Yeah, it feels like on a material level, so like on the day-to-day level of your life, you're very, very vulnerable in the mind for group one. You are the sort of person who will tend to get quite down, quite bleak, depressed, because you're actually quite logical. You're fairly practically minded and logical. And so if things are not seeming to align, what's going on at the material level is much more likely to impact your sense of hope or what can happen for you more so than what's going on at the spiritual level. And that is represented here by the King of Swords. So the trickster energy for you, and it really is coming through the energy of illusions, is to constantly, like shuffling cards, show you a bad hand. Is to constantly show you losing outcomes or ideas, visuals, stories, conversations with people that are having bleak or negative outcomes. That's the game that's being played with you because the mind is where you tend to experience a lot of where you're weakened spiritually, basically. So for you to align with the energy of spiritual support that's coming for you, you have to plug out of the projector, and it's like Wizard of Oz energy, where it's like behind the curtain. You have to plug out of the projector that is showing you doom and showing you negative outlooks. And it may even be showing you previous times in your life where everything was bad and terrible and got fucked up. It's like you may hit a point where you're like, yo, I've been here before. I didn't like it. It was bad. And that trickster energy is showing you, like I said, it's like playing cards. It's showing you a bad hand again. It's like, remember when you lost the game last time because you played that jack, because you played that ace of hearts. So you're needing to ignore the game at that day-to-day level and choose to tune into the Nine of Pentacles, which let me just get a clarification of what that is. Five of Wands in reverse, Seven of Wands, Three of Pentacles. So what it is, when this is like the Chariot card, when I say it's almost delusional, what you have to be careful of is spiritual bypassing, which is I manifested everything's going to work out well for me. It's all going to be fine. And then just doing nothing or going along with the journey and it just falling off the rails. Because it's like you're not in reality, you're delusional. Like you're actually unwell. So the energy with the chariot card here is you have to hold the duality when you're moving through life. And I'm saying you have to kind of plug out of the trick. It doesn't mean ignoring the material level of things. So there is a part of you, let's say with the black horse, that needs to maintain your day-to-day life. You need to pay your bills, you need to eat your food. Do you know what I mean? You need to keep maintain a healthy body, have relationships with people. You need to do that part. Like you can't just check out of it. But that's being mentally unwell. But whilst you're doing that part, you need to make sure, and for a lot of you, your white horse is offline. Your white horse is falling down, is lying on the ground, and just like, I'm out of the game. I'm being dragged along the chariot. And the only thing driving me is the endurance of, "Yeah, I really hate it here, but I have to keep going." But the white horse is again, the energy of like hope and optimism that is tuned into the frequency of change and possibility, and you need both. And you can't live your life just tuned into the practical struggle and survival energy. So for group one, I'm going to be honest, this needs to be very mundane. It needs to be a very rich, it's a practice of, you need to ritualize it in some way. You need some daily way of choosing the belief system, and that's why it's Jupiter energy, because Jupiter really does rule your belief, like, let's say Jupiter through Sagittarius, it rules your belief systems. And when Sagittarius doesn't have the right belief systems, they get lost or they get stuck. They can be dogmatic. So you need to refine your worldview, basically your perception into something that works well for you. So again, Five of Wands in reverse is like you cannot focus so much on the hardships and everything that's terrible that's going on in the world. You can't. I have not watched I'm not watching any footage of planes falling out of the sky. Do you know why? I have to take a lot of planes. So I just don't want to ingest that. That's not good for me. And this is what I mean with the Five of Wands, is that you cannot be watching the programming. You can't watch the programming, the card game that is everything's bad and terrible and the world is an awful place to be in, firstly. And then secondly, with the Seven of Wands, you do have to meet the daily challenges of life. You do, with these two snakes kind of facing each other. You do have to show up for the obstacles. But with the Three of Pentacles, again, you need to plug into that creative, and it's sacral here, in terms of like passion and